I thought this was an interesting story because it shows the connection between the CDC and the fentanyl opioid plague that is occurring in the US right now. I give a lot of respect to those who report on the ongoing plague that's occurring. Lisa Cabrera, Torian Rain, as well, have discussed this plague that seems to be avoiding this. This is not affecting black people in this country as much as they would like to think, that we are violent and drug addicted. Even from the position of leadership that the CDC chief holds, Dr. Robert Redfield, it seems that even at his level, he can't escape this fentanyl plague. So he says here that that fentanyl almost killed his son. The new CDC director, Robert Redfield, says his son almost died of an opioid overdose when he took cocaine contaminated with fentanyl. Just published yesterday here on NBC News. He is the new director, and as the head of the nation's top public health agency, he says the opioid plague will be one of his priorities, and he revealed a personal reason for it. He says his son almost died from taking cocaine contaminated with the powerful painkiller fentanyl. So I want to first show that, or emphasize that his son was taking illegal drugs. Cocaine is illegal. But they try to downplay that by saying, but it was contaminated with the painkiller fentanyl. So they try to put more of the emphasis on fentanyl. No, let's go back to what your son was taking. That's like saying your coffee is contaminated with fentanyl. That's how they're framing this story, and that I do not appreciate. His son is a drug addict, and I understand that he has other children as well, but his son is a 37-year-old musician who was arrested. He has a drug possession record as well. If we come down more, I'll go back to that, but public records show that his son, a 37-year-old musician, was charged with drug possession in 2016 in Maryland. Notice that they don't give his son's name. They don't give much other information, which is clearly based on who his father is. And they don't have the outcome of the case available in public records. So we don't really know if it was, we're going off of the CDC director's word, not off of a public record that would demonstrate what it was he took and what it was he was charged for. So he did a speech in New Orleans and at a conference, and he revealed that it's important for society to embrace and support families who are fighting to win the battle of addiction, because stigma is the enemy of public health. No, I disagree with that. It's not stigma. It's when you feel you are, where you have this Caucasoid, high IQ fragility, and you feel like you can do anything you want. That narcissism is what is the enemy of public health and safety. And this is not really about public health. This is about addiction, getting to the root of the problem, which I don't see them doing much research on to determine what the problem is, because they're afraid of what it will conclude. Then when they come down here, you have people applauding him for his candor. They talk about 70,000 Americans died of drug overdoses last year, according to preliminary CDC numbers released last week. That's a 10% increase from 2016. So between 2016 and 2017, there was a 10% increase in the number of Americans who died from drug overdoses. And it will probably increase again this year, I'm sure. Most of the deaths recorded involved opioids, which are driving the deadliest drug overdose epidemic plague in U.S. history. The growing numbers of recent deaths have been attributed to fentanyl and fentanyl-like drugs such as carfentanil. These are relatively cheap and are sometimes cut by suppliers into heroin, cocaine, or other drugs without buyers' knowledge. Well, if you know you're already taking cocaine, which is illegal, then what you get is what you get. You know, when you dance with the devil by taking these drugs, you can't be mad when he puts his hand up your skirt. You can't be mad when he fondles you and drags you to hell. So, you all let me know what you think about this story. It's a sad story, I guess, but at the same time, not really, because this is the director of the CDC. This is a person with a heavy science business administration background. He has a son who is a millennial, I'm assuming, and by his age, 37. So he decided to become a musician and not follow in his father's footsteps for whatever reason. And I don't expect there to be much more discussion about this topic because this is his new job. He doesn't want to risk that position. I understand that. If his son was not, did not almost die of an opioid overdose, then I would question why he would bring this up at this time. It is a human interest story, clearly. If his son did almost overdose, then he needs to get the help that he needs, and that was not mentioned in this article. I'm pretty sure they will have him in rehab or something to get help. If not, then you're contributing to the problem even at the level of the director of the CDC. But anyway, you all let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video. As always, have a great day.